All right, guys, we are back. It's another huge action-packed week. This is the one and only OSB Sports Podcast. I'm Scott Matthews. I am joined by my two co-hosts, the one and only Big Kahuna of OSB, Tommy D. What's up, Tommy?
Hey, just getting ready for the big show, my friend.
And the CEO of the one and only The Sports Prophets, Mr. Teddy Brooks. Teddy, what's up, buddy?
Scotty, Tommy, glad to be here and glad we have the music back this week. I missed it last week.
Didn't you? I felt like that groove, like I couldn't get into it at the beginning.
I was watching the show and just was not the same without the music.
What's on you guys' mind? I know we got football here, but we want to talk about that a little bit later on. Anything, I know Teddy always has things on his mind. Anything popping up that you want to discuss early in the show?
I always have things on my mind. I was just answering some DMs from some clients. I don't always answer our DMs. I have someone that helps with that. But I was just answering some DMs, and it was like, whoa! It was really eye-opening that people watch these videos that we do, free games, and guys, you gotta get a little bit of a sports betting for dummies background before you really dig into this, so you can understand kind of what we're giving out. Sometimes we talk a little bit fast. I gave an over a couple days ago, and I don't remember the teams, but let's say Team A versus Team B over 9 in baseball. And someone said, okay, so you want me to play Team A over Team B, so Team A on the money line. Guys, you got to pay a little bit more attention to what we're putting out there, understand the sports that you're betting a little bit more. We're going to give you the picks, and we're going to help you as much as we can. But just be a little careful when you're taking our advice, and also gauge your expectations. To anyone that doesn't know much about sports betting, being in the 60 percentile, 62, 63, 64, 65, 68, whatever, it's good. I had someone say to me one time,
damn good, to be honest.
I had someone say to me one time, well, where I come from, 65% is a failing grade in school. And I said, well, this isn't school, this is sports betting, so
I don't know how you're going to out-top Teddy.
Well, I run into the same situations daily. I mean, last week my best pick was Hawaii. I'm not plugging myself here, plus the 17.
Good pick, Tommy.
Hey, listen, I thought it was just too many points, but I did give out the play to someone, and they go, Tommy, what sport are we talking about? Well, there's not many Hawaii teams, first of all. It was a college football board. So I find a lot of people that are jumping into this market now, quite frankly, I don't think they really know a lot about what's happening. They always say, should I bet the money line? So you're right, education is important. One thing I saw yesterday, since legalization has kicked in, $250 billion has been bet. That does not include Texas, Florida, or California. I think this is $1 trillion market going forward.
Well, we all know that. We know the betting is going to explode throughout the, not even in the United States, but throughout the world. I mean, it's tremendous. But, at the end of the day, there's a lot of new people coming into our industry, so we got to give them a little break. They don't know what we know. We understand it left and right because we've been in it so long, all of us combined. So, we got to understand there's some young bloods out there that don't really know all the ins and outs. So got to be a little patient with them. But, hey, we're here to educate, and we're here to try to do the right thing, guys.
Yeah, that's why we do what we do. That's why, we put in the work that we do. Otherwise, we wouldn't give out all the free stuff. But I think one question I have for you guys, do you think it's, when you see all these numbers, how many people do you think are actually new to it completely? I know that's a percentage of it. And then how many people do you think changed from betting offshore or with a local bookie over to the legal market? Like, is it 40-60, like, or 40% completely new and 60% crossovers?
Well, I'll tell you my answer. I think there's a ton of new people. I think there's a ton of new.
Without a doubt.
I think it's more new than, guys that are just changing over.
What do you think, 80-20, 80% new, 20% changing over?
That I can't say, but it's definitely, I would, if I had a guess, I would say it's at least probably 70%, 65, 70% new blood coming in, just by the people I speak to alone that reach out to me. I mean, I know you get a lot of reach outs. Tommy gets a lot of reach outs. So, You know, there's a lot of young kids coming in this game that turn 21. They don't really know it that well. I mean, they're sophisticated on one hand. Maybe they know players, they know this, they know stats and things like that, but they don't know the whole circumference of the betting, you know, overall per se.
Yeah.
And just to pick up, the states that does not have legal betting, I'm finding Texas, California, Florida, most people are still betting offshore.
Right.
I hear the big names, Bovada, MyBookie. I'm not condoning or plugging them. Or people are still working with local books. So I think it's across the board. People are signing up with the regulated. They'll have an offshore account. They may have a local guy. So I think it's predominantly a lot of new people coming in, definitely due to the fact social media.
All right. Well, I'm glad we got that off your chest because I know you could keep talking about the betting world all day and night.
Yeah.
And I wish I had all day and night to stay here with you guys, but there's a lot of things moving. And I want to move into college football because we finally have week 1 that we've all been waiting for months.
100%.
And we got games on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I want to kick it off with the Thursday board. I know you're looking at a key matchup on the game between Florida and Utah, and you have been red hot. Congrats on that best bet winner on Hawaii, plus 17.5. They got the job done in that game, and you cashed for your audience. So let's talk about that game. What's your take on that one?
Interesting matchup. Last year, Florida did beat Utah in Gainesville. Now they're back out at Utah. The numbers looks like it's 6.5 Utah. But I did look this morning, and if you go to my site, onlinesportsbet.com, I have an odds comparison feed. PointsBet has Utah at 4.5. I mean, I don't know if that was a typo, but
I saw 5.5 in some spots.
I could tell you why, I think. I think it's because of this kid, Cam Rising, the quarterback, and his knee. So there's a lot of mixed reports coming out about his knee.
He's not playing, they're saying. But
some people are saying he is. Some people are saying he isn't. So I think that's what's moving that line back and forth.
I saw 6.5 across, 5.5, totals 45. They beat him. Florida won last year in Gainesville, 29-26. Utah was driving, and they threw a late interception. The Utes have an unbelievable record at home. I mean, they've won basically every game since 2020. USC beat them 33-17. Florida's going to be in hostile environment here. They got this new quarterback, Mertz from Florida. I just don't see how Florida's going to be able to beat Utah at home. I'm going to lay the 6.5 with Utah. Florida does not have a good road ATS record.
I'm totally disagreeing with you. Totally disagree, and I actually love the Gators in this game. I think they're going to be pumped up. There's a little bit of a hurricane. They actually left on Tuesday, a day early, to go to Dallas. I think that's going to bring the team together with some camaraderie. I think they can play with Utah. I look at numbers. I think if Utah was right, they would have opened up about 7.5 minimum in a game like this. But I think that Florida's got some weapons. They got 2 great running backs. I think if they move the ball on the ground, that's going to keep it away from Utah. They got a good quarterback transferred over from Wisconsin. I like the dog in this game. And, guys, I'm a numbers player. I recommend you buying that line up to about 7.5, and jump on the Gators. I think it's going to be a surprise, and I wouldn't be shocked if they can keep this game real close, if not pull an upset. What's your take, Teddy, on it? You have anything on that game?
I'm looking at a couple factors. It's all about Cam Rising's knee. If he can play and he plays well, Utah crushes him. If he comes in and plays and doesn't play well, or the knee's giving him issues, Utah probably doesn't get the job done. And if he doesn't play at all, Florida wins the game outright. That's what it's all about. The one thing that worries me, Florida was 3-9 against the spread against non-conference teams.
And Utah at home has not lost a non-conference game in like 16 years.
It's going to happen.
In Scotty's going to his side, it's hard to bet against the SEC.
Yep.
It really is.
And they come prepared.
And I got burned last year betting against the SEC. I don't like to do it.
And you know what? If Rising doesn't play, the second-string quarterback's injured, I think, as well. So they might be as deep as going down to their third-string quarterback.
If Rising doesn't play, Florida wins the game outright.
All right. Anything else on Thursday? Or you're
Well,
good
no,
on Thursday?
I'm looking at Friday and Saturday, but
Okay.
I have a little something for Thursday.
Okay.
Let me pop in here. So NC State is playing UConn on Thursday. UConn's plus 14.5 home dogs. UConn's 9-4 against the spread last year. They have a QB and a quarterback coming in together from a new team, and they played together last year. I'm sorry, a QB and a offensive coordinator. 85% of the public's on NC State. The sharp money's on UConn. NC State, they have a new quarterback, losing their top 2 receivers. I think that's a lot of points for a road favorite to cover. I'm going with UConn plus the points.
14.5. I'm showing it as we're talking right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, big week of college football. Obviously, we want to educate the people and try to give them that winning edge. Anything on Friday or Saturday that you're putting out as a strong play?
I'm going to jump to Saturday, and it's the TCU Colorado game. Now, a lot of hype. Coach Prime, first year, is coming into Colorado.
Prime time.
Colorado just has a horrible. They've won 9 games in the last 3 years. True new management, new coaching, and all. TCU went to the national championship last year. It's a big number, 21 points. Total 64.5, which tells me who's going to be scoring all these points. I don't think it's Colorado. I think it's TCU. So I'm looking potentially for a big blowout here. I think Colorado is going to have to play a couple of games to get used to the new coaching system. They're at TCU. My best bet is going to be I'm going to lay the 21.5 with TCU. I say it's a blowout.
Big Kahuna putting his money where his mouth is.
You damn right.
Jumping on TCU, laying 20.5 at this point in time. Teddy, anything on Saturday that?
Yeah, I got Friday and Saturday, but I
Okay.
just want to say something first. Something that's really interesting this year about college football, and a real reason for people, whether you're new or even not new to this, to seek some outside assistance with these games. You have 3 things, and one I didn't know about until I was watching a game last week. They changed the clock rules. The clock no longer stops on first downs.
Correct.
Number 2, you're seeing more players and teams use the transfer portal than ever before. Coach Prime, that you were just talking about, Tommy, is a great example of that. And then the other thing is there's a lot of conference changing going on right now. You got a ton of teams in new conferences this year. You're going to have more teams in new conferences next year. You got the Pac-12 completely dissipating. So I think this is a pivotal time right now in college football, and it could be a good time to catch the odds makers on their heels. That being said, I'm going with Tommy's team on Friday night, Hawaii. They showed who they were in that game. Stanford's absolutely atrocious. Stanford's in an absolute rebuild right now. They finished 128th on offense, 122nd on defense last year, 2-8 against the spread on the road. Hawaii's 4-1 against the spread as a dog and 5-0 against the spread at home.
You've done your homework on this one.
I mean, I was looking at it. I like Hawaii. I don't want to steal Tommy's thunder with that Hawaii team, but I think it's a good move. Scotty, question for you here.
Sure.
Go ahead. Take it over. I'll ask you in a second.
All right. Well, I'm looking at Tennessee to win big on Saturday. I think that's going to be the number on that game is about as perfect the number as I feel at 25 points. I just see them coming out. SEC, man, it's all about SEC football. They're going to be the conference probably to beat. You got number 1 in the country, Georgia, number 2 in the country, Alabama, number 5 in the country, LSU. So Tennessee's going to want to make some noise in there, and I think they're going to come out stomping on their first game. I like Tennessee on Saturday to win that game probably by as many as they want to win. If they want to win this game by 40 or 50, I could see it easily being done. So, guys, best bet on Saturday for me would be Tennessee minus the 25 points. That's it for me on
Scotty,
college.
Big number, though, no?
I like it.
If people need more reinforcement on the pick that Scotty just gave, I love it. And when you have 2 of us all over the same pick like that, guys, that's the type of play you want to go with. So Tennessee covered all 5 non-conference games last year. What does that mean? That means when a high-caliber SEC team plays an out-of-conference team, usually it's almost like it's almost like an NFL team playing a USFL team. They're heads and tails above most of the time. Number one offense in college football last year. And on defense, they led the SEC in tackles for loss. I love that pick.
Yeah, that Virginia team hasn't been, much of much. And then when you're playing a high-powered offense like Tennessee, they can score. I mean, they could score at will. They can almost score every time they touch the ball if they need to.
Absolutely. And one more thing, the game, it's considered neutral ground, but it's being played in Nashville, which is only about 150 miles from Tennessee campus. It's going to be a home game for them. And the odds makers probably aren't doing the normal 3 points that they do when it's a home game.
Tommy, anything you want to add on college football this week?
I got a Friday night game here.
You're jumping all over on me. Fridays, Thursdays, Saturdays. You're confusing me.
Louisville, G-Tech, Georgia Tech. They say this game is neutral, playing at Mercedes-Benz, but doesn't Georgia Tech play there? But they say it's a neutral spot. Both these teams have lost a lot of key players. The Cardinals, they're bringing back this guy, Jack Plummer. He was their quarterback. He played at Cal last year. He's back. Problem with Georgia Tech, they really can't stop the run, all right? They also, like I said, they've lost a lot of key players. Line 7.5, totals 48.5. Instead of trying to figure out who's going to cover here, I think the best way to go is to go over.
That game's on Friday, by the way.
Friday. Correct. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
It's Friday. Totals 48.5. I'm not going to try to figure out who's going to cover this one. I would lean towards Louisville. I like the over. I see a lot of offense here. These defenses are questionable. Go over 48.5 to cash that ticket.
All right. So let's sum this up, guys, because we've been throwing a lot of stuff out there, and we want to help the audience, obviously. Can you give me your one best bet this week in college football? I'll start. You want me to start with Tommy? You still thinking?
Start with Tommy.
One best bet. Just the best bet only.
It has to be TCU. I think they just annihilate Colorado.
Okay. TCU minus 20.5, guys. Best bet from the big kahuna himself. Teddy?
This is a tough one, Scotty. You really put me on the spot here. You remind me of the client that DMs you or messages you and says, "What's the lock today? What's the lock?" Right?
We get that all the time. Come on now.
What's the lock?
I'm easy going comparison to the clients.
You're a little bit easier going. I'm between two, and one of them I haven't even talked about yet.
If you like to, just
I'm going to go with either. I'm going to go with either Tennessee or UConn.
Okay, so you heard it here from the one and only.
And Scotty liking Tennessee gives me even more confidence in it because he's been doing pretty well himself.
I get DMs. Tommy, can you give me a 6-teamer? Sure. Let me just pull it out of my pocket right now, and I'll give it to you, a 6-teamer.
Hey, listen, Big Kahuna, you've been so hot, you should be getting all kinds of DMs.
But
I don't know, maybe marriage proposals or something.
I wish I would. No, I get plenty of DMs, but as we were saying before with Teddy, some of these DMs are a little out there. Give me a 6-teamer. I mean, we're talking about the chances of hitting a 6-teamer is like 2%. So your best way to go is just straight bet these games, and that's where you're going to make your money. We've spoke about this before.
One thing I'm sure Teddy agrees with me. Parlays, guys, come on, forget about it. Trying to win three-leggers, 4-leggers, 5-leggers, up as many leggers as you want. It's just not worth it. If you're really in this to do it right, and you're really trying to grind out and make some money, stay away from these parlays. Your back is against the wall, and it makes it really tough to make it a profitable football season. Yeah, you'll be a hero. You'll win one here and there, and you'll think you're God's gift to the world because you hit a 10-legger. But by the time you win the next one, you're out of money, and then it's not profitable. That's what I'm trying to say. Play quality over quantity when it comes to sports betting. Listen to us. We've been in this business a long time. We speak to so many players out there. We know what it takes. You just got to get that consistent winning behind you, and it'll be a profitable season. I'm sure you agree on that.
I do, and we might sound like broken records. We're talking every week about not betting parlays, make sure you're betting straight, but I will keep doing it until I stop getting people every single day asking me for parlays. So the day that the parlaying stops, that's when we'll stop talking about how bad parlaying is. But if you weren't watching last week and you're watching this week, we need to inform you to lay off these parlays. Did you guys hear about what Michael Rubin's doing? So everyone knows who Michael Rubin is, the owner of Fanatics. He bought PointsBet, and he's doing something that's pretty interesting. PointsBet's new promotion is if you sign up with them and you're a new customer, you get a $150 gift card to Fanatics to buy a jersey of your choice.
There you go. There you go. Get those people out there buying those favorite jerseys.
That's a bit controversial in my opinion there, but I guess that's capitalism. But yeah, well, his thinking is people that buy jerseys are going to be sports bettors. Let's see if that actually pans out.
It's going to be really interesting.
I mean,
thought it was interesting.
There's talk of ESPN. They just got in bed with a major book, and they're saying a lot of people that watch ESPN are not going to be sports bettors. So they're thinking this $2 billion investment is not going to pay off because they're chasing people that just might not bet sports. They might be a sports fan. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens down the road if they actually get conversions.
Yeah. And then you got people that don't watch ESPN that bet sports every day. So
Right.
Yeah, that's it. It's not just about ESPN. It's about everything that's out there. And like I said, this is a booming industry. More people than ever before. I've never seen it in all my years, and I've been around it 35 years myself personally in the handicapping sports betting world. And I've never seen an influx of players like I have in the last year or two.
Still in the second inning also. Very early days.
All right, good. Well, that's good for all of us, right? Let's try to help the people the best we can and give them some winning advice. Hey, anything else hit your...
yeah, I just wanted to give an RIP to Bob Barker. I mean,
yeah.
Man.
one of my favorite... it's a sports movie, Happy Gilmore, you know.
American institution.
That's one of the best... First of all, one of the best game show hosts ever, but one of the best scenes in the sports movie ever is when Bob Barker beats the guy up. So
Adam Sandler gave him a nice right hook, left hook.
But when I used to stay home, when you had a sick day from school, you'd watch Price is Right.
Yeah.
And we're going back a couple of years here.
But here's the thing. You're probably about 40 years old. No, I'm just kidding. You're a little bit older than me, Tommy, and I did the same thing when I stayed home from school as I watched Price is Right too.
What Price is Right.
And now, does anyone really still watch it with Drew Carey? It's not the same.
No, he can't fit his shoes, as they say.
How about Bob Barker? Couldn't make that 100 off. Damn. 99, almost 100.
Right?
It's all right. I just had an uncle of mine pass away about 3 months ago, not to get it, 103 years old.
God bless him.
Yeah, God bless him.
Barker was a vegetarian the last 30 years of his life, so maybe that helped him out.
Listen, he was chasing all those hot chicks, his little co-host there for a while, too.
Yeah,
those
girls in the 70s were ahead of their times, definitely.
He was a real player, Bob. But what about anything in baseball? You tailing certain teams still?
Yeah, I talked about it last week.
Seattle play we talked about, they're red hot, Seattle.
They did it a few times if you played them on the run line. So last week we were talking about, Scotty said, what do you look for in baseball this time of year? And I said, I look for favorites because two things are going to happen with a big favorite. They're either not going to show up like Scotty was talking about last week and they're going to lose. Or if they show up, they're going to win by a few runs. And that's what was happening last night. You had Baltimore, you had Toronto, you had the Braves, you had the Padres, all covered the -1.5. They were all. I gave away the Braves on my free video, and I gave another one to my private clients. -1.5 right now.
Did you see what happened with Ronald Acuna Jr. last night? Two fans come out of the stands and tackle him in the outfield.
Somebody called me and told me about it. It is crazy when you got players of that caliber. That's probably, I don't know if you guys saw this, that's probably why Messi, he has a sideline bodyguard personally for him.
Ex-Navy SEAL.
At all times.
Ex-Navy SEAL. He's with him constantly. Bad dude this guy is. I mean, obviously you don't want to get in front of him. But, Messi, I mean, listen, the guy's worth, what? He's a couple $100 million contract.
Oh, he's worth a lot more than that, but yeah. Just on that contract, he got a couple $100 million.
People are getting crazier.
He scored every game, right? Goal every game so far?
Nuts. What he's done to the jerseys sold out until October. Tickets are face value 100 going for 900. It's absolutely crazy. And I have somebody who I lean towards for soccer picks, and I was discussing it with him, and when it first happened, he thought, no way one guy is going to make a difference on a soccer team like that. And sure enough, he did. But yeah, people are getting crazier, Scotty. And what I've noticed, Scotty, is players seem more than ever now to go back at the fans. When they start barking
protect themselves.
Well, even the verbal barking, they don't take it well.
Malice in the Palace, that goes back a couple of years when they ended up
a while ago.
When they ended up in the stands.
Yeah, I actually was watching that game.
Yeah, Malice in the Palace.
As it was going on, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So was I. I was in a dorm room watching that game with a couple buddies when that happened.
Couldn't believe what I was watching. It was like watching a WWE fight or an old hockey game when they used to jump over. I don't know if you guys, you won't remember probably, but Tommy will, when they used to jump over the boards in the NHL back in the day and go fight people in the stands.
Yeah.
The players would go after the fans. It was nuts. Back Bruins, Philadelphia, all the rivalries, New York and Boston.
Check it out. Classic movie, Slapshot.
But anyways, guys, I think we touched base on everything. I mean, we gave out some great selections on these games. We talked a lot of topics. Where can the people find you? Because you have some great information out there. And let's face it, it's football season, and I'm sure you want to get them on the right side of some games. How do they get a hold of you? Yeah,
so go to _profits_pick on Instagram. Go to @sportsprofits on TikTok, or go to thesportsprofits.com. Nice and simple. We keep it all.
All right.
Keep it all simple. But you know how it is with Instagram. Sometimes you can't get the exact name you want.
And don't piss him off, guys, because he takes his work real serious. So give him some good DMs, man. None of this bullshit DMs.
It's not even bad DMs. It's more silly questions that don't make sense, and it's a lot of it's work. But hey, we're here for you guys. Don't worry. Don't let that be deter you from reaching out to us. And guys, I want you to understand, we're putting 80 hours or more a week into this. I want you to understand that. This is no joke here, what we do. We don't have to be right or wrong all the time. We put the hours in, and that's why we expect to get that edge. This man works his ass off. This man works his ass off. This guy right here works his ass off. So, all right, Big Kahuna. Where can the people find you except everywhere? Because it seems like you are everywhere.
Well, I keep on talking about this odds comparison feed. It's so important to shop numbers. So if you go to our site, onlinesportsbet.com, you will see a bunch of different odds for 7, 8 different books. We also put out picks there daily. Probably the best thing is my Instagram, OSB_sports. I got one key game up there daily, and we've been on a roll recently, so check us out.
I got to ask you a question. Feedback from the people. Do they like the odds feed where they can see all these different avenues that you're offering them on point spreads and stuff like that? I guess it gives you a whole gambit of what's going on.
Well, it has every sport. It has props. But from what I'm finding out, I'll say, who are you playing with? I'm with DraftKings. Well, who else do you play with? Oh, no, just DraftKings. The novice person coming in, he's not shopping numbers. And it's a big, big mistake because you can't just rely on what one book's going to give you. We brought an example. PointsBet had it -4.5 on that Florida game. Others had 5.5, 6.5.
Big difference.
Can't stress shop numbers.
Definitely.
You took the words out of my mouth, Tommy. When you were talking about the odds comparison feed, I was saying I was checking it out the other day. It's awesome. And on top of that, use it, because a lot of people, they keep their money in one sports book. And it's one of the biggest. If there is one thing you came to me and said, what's the biggest mistake that a novice sports bettor makes? I think the two are parlaying and keeping all your money in one sports book. You need to have different options, and you need to see which sports book lets you do certain things. Now that we're leaving baseball and coming into football, being able to buy points, being able to get a good price on buying points, these are things that are going to matter this time of year.
definitely.
100%. Some books will let you cash out in the middle of the game.
I like that.
I had
well.
a guy the
That's
other
a
day
good
that
hedge.
did that.
Yeah.
I gave out a pick on Sunday with the Texas Rangers. They were up 5-0 against Minnesota. Guy calls me up. He says, I could get cash out right now, get about 85% of my money. I said, listen, if that's what you want to do, grab it. I'm not holding you back. Take it. It worked out for him. The game ended up dropping in 13 innings, but he got his money. So smart move. If you could cash out early and get almost 85% of your money, why not? Well, you don't have to be a hero and sit there and watch the game go all the way to the end.
Or if you're on a game that's not looking good, cut your losses short, move on.
Yeah, I love it. I love the early cash out. There's actually one book, I can't think of who it is right now. They pay you the full amount if you're up by 5 in baseball right now.
Yeah,
Crazy, man.
that's what he was
Yeah.
up, 5-0. All right, guys. Well, listen, we had an unbelievable show. I'm Scott Matthews. You could check me out on Instagram at SM Sports Picks, Picks, and on TikTok at SM Picks, Picks. Wow, what a great show we had today. Guys, follow us each and every week on all podcast forums. We're out there. We're looking to give you the betting edge. You got great experts here that do this for a full-time living. This is what we do. We look to show you quality games that we feel make sense. We'll be back here next week. Again, check the show out on all podcast forums. I'm Scott Matthews. Have a great day.